I am Novelist T, and welcome to a summer vlog. Now, summer is my absolute favorite season of all time. I love the warmth. I love just the water vibes we get, whether it's the pool, the ocean. And I just love walking outside and feeling that crisp air that comes with a warm summer's day. However, I am employed, introverted, and constantly indoors. I have a hard time indulging in the season just circumstantially as a person, and I had to look over at my calendar and realize that June was already gone, and I had yet to really take advantage of the summer season. I'm sitting here with a bucket list of tons of things I'd love to do and a complete lack of indulging in them. But one large camera financial decision later, I finally have an excuse to sit here and be like, I should do the things I want to do, but I can capture them. I am an artist after all. Shall I not film the beauty around me? And so with that solid excuse to go, I now had to start completing tasks on said bucket list. And I had to decide where to start. And I landed on fruit. Part of my motivation here is I actually had just finished reading the book, The Spell Shop, and then I was moving on to the somewhat kind of not quite sequel, The Enchanted Greenhouse, and my Cottagecore exploded. My desire to go out and just touch a plant was incredibly strong. However, here in July, strawberries aren't really a thing right now, and I usually pick strawberries, so I had to go with option number 2. And I was fortunate enough that I had a friend come in town who was like, hey, come with me to the mountains. Come with me to the mountains where there's lots of berry farms all over the place. Like, oh my god, this is awfully convenient. It's like the world is telling me to go touch grass. So off we were whisked away together. Now, we were up bright and early. 6 a.m. to be exact, because a certain somebody had just gotten back from Japan and had not quite adjusted and made me go see what the morning looked like. And I'm not gonna lie, it was really pretty. It was really nice to be out, even if I had zero sleep. I got to watch the morning fog dissipate, and then my friend also brought in something that did raise my mood. And that was tea. She had gotten one of those special blooming teas, and she has one of those special glass pots. So I got to make her make some of the prettiest tea I have ever seen, and it was, in fact, delicious. She also wanted to go visit the nearby lake, so we ran over there and had to be super extra because she also wanted to make coffee. She had some special coffee she wanted to brew that was from all the way from Japan. So, of course, I humored her, and honestly, it looks pretty good. I don't know anything about coffee. You guys tell me. You guys are the coffee people. I am but the tea. But we didn't have time to be doing all that because we had somewhere we needed to be. We had a farm with our name on it. We drove to our little venue, which was this massive property with just nothing but plants for days, nestled into the mountains. We grabbed the largest options for fruit gathering and were off into the orchard. Now, we came to this farm with strong intentions. Where there may not be strawberries, there were other fruits to pick from. And of them, they had peaches and blackberries. And some other ones, but we ultimately went with that. Now, first up, we went to the peach orchard. And I actually don't really like peaches. And I'm not saying that as like, peaches are awful and everyone should hate them. I say this as somebody who wishes I could like the delight of peaches. But fortunately, my friend enjoyed them, so we picked all the peaches for her, because I was going to save all my energy for the blackberries. I learned how to properly pick a peach. Apparently, I gotta wait for it to be a little bit squishy, and then you've found the perfect peach. Unfortunately, some of the orchard had gotten damaged because there was a huge storm right before we came, but enough of the trees were still around, and some of these were supposed to be really, really old, but they looked rather pretty. And fortunately, the trees were short enough that it was pretty easy to grab any peach. They were all knee height, which was fantastic, because I'm not the world's tallest person in the universe. And while I may not delight in the fruit, I was so happy to get lots and lots of footage of just how pretty it is out here. This is what I want. This is the summer feeling, the summer view. This is the impression I have But we were only halfway done with our mission because now we need to get the blackberries. I was so excited to get blackberries because this was the other treat that I used to pick all the time with my grandfather when I was really little. Usually at the end of summer, I would go blackberry picking with my grandfather and then take it home to my grandmother, who would ultimately make blackberry cobbler. Honestly, this is one of my big summer memories that I'm trying to capitalize on here. I love these delightful little berries. I'm super into sour food, so the tartness of blackberries is absolutely perfect. It hits the spot every time. It was really fun just running down through the lanes and just getting blackberry juice everywhere and filling the bucket up so full. This thing was so insanely heavy to carry back. I think it was approximately like 5 pounds of blackberries. And I'd later bring it back to my grandmother, who would end up making it into a blackberry cobbler and end up using most of it. Like, I thought I was going to eat some of these individual berries. Nope, almost all of them went to the cobbler. I did not realize cobbler called for such an insane amount of blackberries. And then everybody ate the blackberry cobbler. I got like 1 slice. I think I deserved at least 2 slices, but nonetheless, I had succeeded on my berry journey. That was one thing checked off the checklist. Now, as I mentioned before, I had not just read one book that was getting really cottagecore-y. There was another that inspired me. It was The Enchanted Greenhouse. I always wish I owned a property where I could put one on and have like all those really big fancy displays that you have in all those like villainous manhwas. And fortunately, I do have a friend who sat there and said, "Oh, hey, you want a greenhouse? Well, there's like a couple hours away a greenhouse that doubles as a winery where you can go and drink wine inside a greenhouse." And like magic, my wish had been granted. So once again, I was off back to the mountains on another bucket list exploration. This wasn't really on the bucket list, but like, it fit the vibe. Now, I don't know much about the protocol with wineries, but we did learn that on this journey that the winery only served wine and there wasn't food with it, and I was not about to have a drink that I seldom have without some kind of food. So we stopped in a town on the way and got ourselves some delicious little sandwiches to munch on along with our wine, and it was very awkward because I didn't realize that you could just take food in places. Most restaurants are like, no outside food. So this was a unique experience. And after getting about as far off the map as we possibly could, we arrived at the greenhouse. And it was beautiful. Like, it was a massive greenhouse. It was pretty much exactly what I wanted for a picturesque greenhouse. We came in, we checked out the area, we ordered the wine, and we found ourselves a cute little table nestled in all of the greenery. And not only was this place just an unbelievably beautiful greenhouse that we were able to hang out in, they had an extraordinary beautiful view out on another lake. There's a lot of lakes in the mountains apparently. You also were allowed to take the food and drink outside and go anywhere on the property to eat, which was crazy. I'm not used to that kind of beauty and experience, but it was phenomenal. Nonetheless, we sat down, we ate the sandwiches that we had brought along, and I endeavored in their chocolate. I mean, who's to say with specialty chocolate that comes with the wine? The chocolate was okay. I think I need to accept that I don't like chocolate being filled with anything. But nonetheless, it was about the mood. It was about the aesthetic. And after we had finished up our meal, we decided to go out and check out the beautiful property. There was a beautiful deck that we could view out of. The mountains looked amazing in the distance, very picturesque. The vineyard itself lined most of the property, so we also got to walk around and see the grapes in action. And then we hung out and checked out the little dock, because how can I resist a little dock on some water? It's very cute. I also like that all these lakes have like random islands in the center. It's just beautiful and filled with mystery, and I feel like a lot of novels are not taking advantage of the fictional usage of an island on a lake. But nonetheless, our activities would ultimately come to a close because, similar to the enemy of the berry farm, another storm was rolling in and was about to take us out. So we decided that our lovely lunch had come to an end, and a randomly added item to my bucket list was complete. And this is just the beginning of the middle of the summer. I'm gonna try to knock out as many of these bucket list items as I possibly can, but also there might be an unusual item on the list for next time. So until then, I will see you next vlog. Bye bye!